All right, welcome back to another drawing that we're going to be working on tonight. This is labeled as problem 61, the top graph drawing. And this is in Canvas. The assignment says we're going to take a look at the top drawing of the following drawing page. You'll be creating the top drawing using Solidworks. The bottom drawing will come in a different assignment. So if I slide down, we're going to do the top one. This one will come later on. So only worry about the top one. Each grid mark on the graph is equal to 1 inch by 1 inch. So if we take a look and we count these individual graph marks, we can see that the length of this thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 9 inches long. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches wide. And a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches tall. So 6 inches tall, 6 inches wide, and 9 inches long is the overall size of this. There are some different arcs and circles that we're going to have to cut. We'll get to the sizes of those in just a little bit. When starting SolidWorks, make sure that your drawing units is set to inches, pounds, seconds, and not millimeters. We're going to draw. You're going to draw this as a part, and then you're going to open up a drawing, and you're going to import the front, top, and right side views and the isometric view into an A4 landscape paper. And then that is what you're going to submit for me is the paper or the drawing on the title block is what you'll give to me. At this point, we do not have to add in measurements or you don't have to add in the dimensions. You do have to draw it to the right size, but you don't have to include the dimensions on the drawing. We'll progress into that with another drawing. Okay, so let me pause this, and we're going to go into SolidWorks and get started on our drawing. And remember how to pause the. There we go. Okay, so we're in SolidWorks now. We are going to work on a part. And there are several ways that we can start this drawing. It all depends on what is, what you're more comfortable with. It's basically there's a base on this thing, and then the rounded portions on the top left side, and some cutouts on the right side. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a 2-inch tall base and create a base first, and then we'll put the wings on the back side, and then we'll cut the holes in it. So I think that's the way that I'm going to start this thing. So I'm going to start on, let's say, the top plane. Looking down on top of this. And I'm going to go extrude boss base. We're going to create this sketch of a rectangle. I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm going to create a rectangle. The size of that rectangle, I'm done with that, is going to be, remember the length is 9 inches. I should have mentioned that don't forget down here you want to look and make sure that you're set at IPS and not MMGS. So we're going to set the length at 9 inches. The width was set at 6 inches. I'm done with that. Exit the sketch. And the base is 2 inches tall. So I'm going to use a blind and set the height at 2 inches. And check mark. Good. So that's the base. And now there's these wings that are on the back side here. A couple of ways we can do this. We can either go to the top view and make a couple of rectangles in the corners and extrude them up and then round them over. That's one way. We could go to the front view here and create the piece and extrude it back and then cut the middle out. That's one way to do it. I think most of them take about the same amount of time and effort to do that. So I'm going to go to the front view here, and I'm going to let me just zoom in a little. Mouse is going a little crazy here. Okay, so I'm going to make that piece here. We can either make it as a rounded top or make it as a square top and then use the fillet to round it over. Whatever you're comfortable with is acceptable. I think I'm going to, I think for this one, I'm just going to make it square and then round it over with the fillet command. So if I look at the drawing, it is 1, 2, 3, it's 4 inches tall, and the width is 1, 2, 3, it's 4 inches wide. So I am going to, on this face, you got to make sure that this face is highlighted. I'm going to go extrude with a rectangle, and I'm going to make sure that I get right on the corner there, that red or that orange dot shows up in the corner, and I'm going to create a rectangle. And the size of this, go with dimension, the size of this rectangle is 4 by 4. So I want to make sure it's 4 inches tall and 4 inches wide. And because I locked it in here, it will hold this end in and not this end. Okay? And check mark that that's done. Exit the sketch, and it wants to know which direction do I want to push or pull this thing. Well, I'm going to click on this button right here, which says I want to go the opposite direction. And I can either do this twice, once on this side and then once again over here, or I can do the whole thing at once and then just cut the middle out. So I'm just going to do the whole thing at once. So I'm going to say that the width of this extrusion is going to go 6 inches. I'll put that in at 6 inches. Check mark. Okay. And I'm going to cut this middle piece out right here. I can either do that before or after I make the roundovers. In fact, I might as well make the roundovers first. That way I only have to do it once. So let me go to this edge, normal to this side, and this is 4 inches, and the roundover is half of that. So I'm going to go with a 2-inch radius on the fillet. So let me just go fillet. Let me cancel out of that. I do not want that side highlighted. Now I'm going to go fillet. I'm going to set the size right down here at 2 inches. And I want this corner and this corner. Okay. It's nice having the full preview turned on right here. That way you can see and make sure that it looks, the way that you want it to look. Okay. So if that's good, go ahead and check mark. And as long as I'm working here, I might as well put the hole through the middle as well. So this one I am going to click on this face and go normal to. And I'm going to do an extrude cut, right? Because we've already have our material. We just need to cut away. So I'm going to go extrude cut with a circle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mouse on the edge of this and hang out for a second until it shows me the center point, which is there. That'll make sure that I'm in the same center. And if you pull your mouse out, you can see that it's equal to the edge of that. So let me just throw a circle in here. And the size of the circle is a 2-inch diameter or a 1-inch radius. So let me go smart dimension on the edge of this. It's supposed to be 2. And check mark. So there's our size. Exit the sketch. And again, we want this hole to go through the entire thing. So I'm going to go, instead of it saying blind, I'm just going to go through all. That'll Make sure that it goes through the whole thing. Good, so we've got that hole going through. And now let's cut this thing so we have a hole in the middle here. So let me go to this piece, normal to this, and we're going to cut right here. We're going to cut this rectangle out. So I'm going to go Extrude Cut with a rectangle, and just somewhere on this top edge and somewhere on this bottom edge. Okay. And it's going to be 4 inches wide. I have the bottom set, I have the top set. I just need to make sure that it's 4 inches wide, and I have to tell the thickness here is going to be 1 inch and the thickness here is going to be 1 inch. So let me smart dimension this. We'll say that 4 inches. And we're going to say the distance from here to here is 1 inch. Now I don't need to do this one because it pulled this over so that this is 1 inch, and it says here that it's fully defined. If I put this measurement in, it'll over define it. So I don't need to put that in. It already knows that that's going to be 1 inch because that's what's left over. And so now we just down with the dimension and we can exit the sketch. And again, it wants to know how far do you want to go through, and we're just going to go through all and check mark. Okay, so it takes that entire piece out. So now we just have some cutting we have to do on this top face. So let's go normal to, and we've got some work we're going to do here. And there's 2 different cuts that we're going to put in here. The first one is a big circle that extends out to the edge here. And so we're going to start that. I'm curious if I don't think my origin is right on the starting point. Yeah, it might. No. Let me go back to. Okay. So let's do an extrude cut. We're going to do it in the shape of a circle. And I'm going to line up my mouse on the edge here and see how it gives me the midpoint right here. I want my circle to be in line with that midpoint. So I'm going to bring it. I know you can't see it, but there's a blue dot or a blue line, a dotted line that's attached to my mouse. And I'm just going to click and drag. And this is going to be a 2-inch radius or a 4-inch diameter. Okay. Now again, what I did was I just put my mouse on the edge. I saw that midpoint right here. And when I drag my mouse, I put my mouse on the I didn't click, I just put my mouse on that midpoint and dragged it across. And notice it gives me an extension line equal to the center of the circle. That's what I did to make sure that the center of my circle is right in the middle of my box. Okay, so let's dimension this thing. Dimension, click on the edge, and the size of this is going to be a 4-inch diameter. Okay, and I'm now going to draw a line from the top straight over to here, and from the bottom straight over to here. So let me get a line. I'm done with the dimension, but let me get a line from the top. See how it gives me the quadrants? I'm going to go from this quadrant here straight across to here. I'm going to hit escape to break off this circle, or to break off this line. I'm going to do the same thing, get my line command. I'm going to go from the bottom of the circle here straight across to here. And then I'm going to attach it to my original line up here. So I've created this entity right here. And I'm going to trim away this inner circle. So I'm going to hit escape. I'm done with that line command, and I'm going to get the trim command. So I'm going to go trim. I'm just going to do trim closest, and I'm going to get rid of the inside of this circle. And notice now it gives me, instead of it being a circle and lines, it's now giving me one enclosed area. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm done with the trim. I'm actually done with the sketch now, and I want this cut. I want the cut only to have to go down 1 inch. So instead of it defaulting at 6 inches, this is going to be 1. And notice it only goes down a little bit here, halfway. So let me check mark that. And that's good. So then the inner circle, we're going to cut one more cut out of here on this face. So let's go normal to this face. And we're going to do one more, almost the exact same thing we did here. It's just going to be smaller. So I'm going to go extrude cut with a circle. I can either go, it's the same center point too. So I'm going to hang out on the edge of this circle here. There's my center point. Click. And I'm just going to drag it out here just to make sure that it's the right center point, and it is. So I'm going to go to about here. And I'm going to dimension this. The size of this is a 2-inch circle. I'm going to get a line, go from the top, straight across to here, hit escape, get another line from this quadrant, straight across. Got to make sure that the back line here turns orange. And then I'm going to go up to this point, which is another orange dot. Good. Then I'm done with the line, I'm going to trim. I'm going to get rid of the inside of this circle. There's my inner piece that I want to cut away. I'm done with that. Exit the sketch. And I want this to go down 1 inch. I could say through all on this one, or I could say a blind cut 1 inch. Either way is going to get me what I need. And check mark. Let me take a look at the isometric view here. And I do believe that that's what we want. And so now we're going to take this, let's save it, and we will import it into our drawing. So let's save this as, was it page 61? Page 61 top was the name of this. And then I'm going to open. Actually, I'm going to go new. Drawing. Okay. And I'm going to do a browse all the way down to the bottom of this for an A4 landscape. Okay. And here's my page 61 top. This doesn't show up here for you. Go to the annotations tab, click on that, go to model view. Actually, I'm going to go view layout, model view, and it's going to give me this. So I'm going to double click on this. This is my part. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to highlight the front view right here. So this is front, top, side, isometric. These are the 4 that I'm going to import, but I'm always going to start with my front view. So I'm going to highlight that one and drag it over here. Click to import it. Go straight up. reason it's not giving me my other views. Let me try that again. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go to model view. This is the one I would like. I'm just looking, create multiple views. I think that's what I need to do, is create multiple views. I don't know why, but maybe I've got an update and it's not. But when I click on these 4 views, notice they show up here. So let's see what that does. Normally you drag them over, but let's see what that does. All right, so let's see if we can move these now. And we can. Okay, I would like you to turn on the hidden lines. So let's go to this view here, the front view here, and let's turn on our hidden lines. And that is this here, hidden lines visible. So they're good here. Let me click on this one and we'll go hidden lines. We'll click on the right side view and turn on our hidden lines. We do not need hidden lines in the isometric view. And then I want to put in my center lines where I have circles, right? So they already give me this center line. It would be nice if that extended all the way out for this one. I would need to put them in here, 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 and here as well. So let me, I'm done with this. Let me go to annotation now. And let me go center line. And I'm going to click on this line and this line. There's one center line. There's one. It already gave them to me here. That's good. I should be able to put in I do need to put in center marks. Choose my biggest arc here. Puts it in there. Good. Puts it in there. And I do have a center line that's going to be straight down from here. Let's see, where is that located? I have to draw a center line from here. Straight through. I'm going to turn off for construction. I want it to be a, oh, what happened? Anyways, I need that to be a solid line. It kind of shaded it out, but I'm not quite sure why. Anyways, that represents the center here. So we have all of our center lines in, all of our center lines in, all of our center lines in. It looks like we are good. So remember, to fill in the title block, we have to right mouse click. Oops, let me finish this. We have to right mouse click and go edit sheet format. We can then double click inside these and you can put in your name. Make sure you use all capital letters. Um, you could put in if your page if the file name doesn't fit inside this box, make sure that you change the font size to something smaller so that it does fit. Okay, nothing worse than having a nice drawing and then having a file name that doesn't fit inside the box and sticking it makes it look unprofessional. So then after we're done filling this out, you will right mouse click and go edit sheet. There's our completed project. So file, save as, page 6-1, complete or drawing, or whatever you want to name it. Save, and then that's what you'll submit. That will be your finished drawing. Oh, look. Page 61, top drawing. When I changed the file name, it changed it and it's too big. So I would have to right mouse click, edit sheet format, double click on that, change the font size to something that does fit. And edit sheet. Okay. All right, hopefully that was helpful. Let me save this again, save, and that's what you'll submit. Okay.